esa trampa, una belleza. Bueno, guachos, ahora cocinamos el conejito con amor y después lo bañamos en salsa de uvas, como se debe. Esto es vida, papá.
That was pretty darn cool, right? That's El Loco Blanco, the Argentinian Spanish-speaking Yeti, who has been chronicling his life through a series of vlogs. El Loco Blanco is an AI-generated phenomenon, and if you are learning Spanish or you've learned Spanish to a certain level, I strongly recommend that you watch El Loco Blanco. He's incredibly enjoyable, incredibly funny, and just downright a wonderful experience. A great way of cleansing and perfecting your algorithm. But even beyond the pure entertainment factor, I think El Loco Blanco has something to tell us. You see, El Loco Blanco, as I mentioned just now, is an AI-generated phenomenon. And we have to ask this question. As AI progresses at an incredible rate, at an increasingly sophisticated rate, what does that mean for those of us who are learning languages? I mean, you might ask this question. Are language courses, are language teachers like me going to be rendered redundant? And my answer will be, well, that depends on the quality of the course and the quality of the teacher. Now, that sounds pretty brutal and pretty harsh, but let me give you an example here. Already in development are a series of technologies for live translation that I think will transform the way that we interact with people who speak other languages. I genuinely believe, without being overly optimistic or perhaps overly grandiose in my expectations, that within a decade we're going to have systems, technologies that will service us sufficiently that when we go to a cafe in any country that speaks one of the major languages like Spanish, Portuguese, French, or Italian, the languages that this channel focuses on, you can go and order a menu item in English, and you'll have some kind of technology that's going to translate that order directly into the target language perfectly. And I think people who are denying that right now, humbly, I think they are perhaps downplaying the power that AI will have in the future. So let me get back to this question. Does that render a lot of us redundant? Well, I think to a certain degree, yes. What's really going to make the difference between a great language learner and a great language course and those that are essentially replaceable at the time in that context is going to be the why. Why are you learning French? Why are you learning Italian? If you're learning Spanish just because you want to explore the party scene in Ibiza, then yeah, probably probably a language course and any efforts at learning a language are going to be completely replaceable by AI. But if, for example, you're learning Spanish to become acquainted with the culinary culture of Peru, to understand in a deeper sense the history of Mexico, to enjoy a flamenco show, to talk about Don Quixote or the Siglo de Oro, or if you're in Colombia, about the legacy and importance of Gabriel García Márquez and the significance of magical realism, then I think you've got something that AI won't really replace. Now, I've got a series on the side called Fluency from Scratch, in which I'm trying to guide students to learn a foreign language from the very bases. And I start out with this question: why are you learning the language? And I think if we look deep upon into ourselves, if we engage in a bit of introspection, we can find that the real reason we want to learn a language is for something much deeper than merely experiencing fun parties or perhaps even slightly better, enjoying good food that a foreign culture has to offer. Rather, we're interested in something intangible, but something of immense value. So I want to continue this discussion in future, but before, I'd like to hear your comments. Am I onto something here? Is this a reasonable take about what's going to distinguish the language learner and the language course that has enduring value from those that can easily be replaced because they're merely teaching us something functional that technology is going to simply do better within a few decades? Let me know in the comments below, because I'm preparing a follow-up video on this topic. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.